Can you believe iCarly, I Go to Japan aired 17 years ago? I can feel my hair getting thinner by the second. This episode aired in season 2 of iCarly all the way back in November of 2008, just 4 days after Barack Obama was elected the first black president. And I'm not saying Dan Schneider fixed the election, but I will point out that they did appear to owe him a favor, as Michelle later appears on an episode of iCarly. I Go to Japan was iCarly's first TV movie at 74 minutes long, and I remember as a kid thinking it would be so cool to see Carly, Sam, and Freddie actually go to Japan. But for some reason, I can't remember them going on any Japan-related adventures in this episode. And Miranda Cosgrove even revealed in an interview with Jerry Trainer that they filmed the entire episode at Nickelodeon Sunset Studios. And when you're watching the episode, it's pretty obvious. So I guess that's why I don't remember them actually being in Japan, because they weren't. They should have just called this episode, I Don't Go to Japan. But seriously though, the special itself is really only about the iCarly gang trying to win an award show, and they don't really do anything within the plot of the episode that has to do with them being in Japan. So why didn't they just call the episode, I Win an iWeb Award or something? I don't know, the whole thing's a little bizarre. So guys, it's definitely time for a rewatch so I can remember once and for all how exactly Dan Schneider tries to pass off Hollywood as Japan. And as always, if you guys like this video, please give me that fat juicy like and maybe even subscribe. It really supports the channel. And if you have any other episodes or shows you want me to cover, let me know down in the comments. All right, let's dive in. So we start off with some absolutely insane technology, a see-through laptop. It looks really cool, but if you think about it, there's no privacy at all. Everyone can see those dirty websites you're browsing through that laptop. We then cut to a random episode they're filming for iCarly, and someone, I guess Spencer, installed goddamn swings in the ceiling, and that's a lot of effort to go through for a 10-second bit on a web show that isn't even particularly funny at all. Also, why is Carly in her bare feet? But Freddie is fully shoed up. Honestly, both of them should be wearing socks in this scenario. Both of them are in the wrong. Sam raids Carly's fridge as if it was her own home and asks if anyone wants a snack. Freddie asks if she can toss him an apple, and she then launches it at his face with the same velocity as a Major League Baseball thrown by a Major League pitcher. That's a broken nose guaranteed. And Carly just says to Freddie, "You should have asked for a muffin." That's victim blaming. Like the well-trained abuse victim he is, Freddie gets over it as if nothing ever happened within seconds and hops on the computer. He says, "Whoa, looks like we got a V-mail." And what the hell is a V-mail? A video mail? That's not a phrase, Freddie. And Carly says, "Who's it from?" while also staring at the screen herself. Can Carly not read? Is this some new iCarly lore that we all missed out on in the past? Freddie clicks on the email and a video message starts playing instantly. And some British guy announces to them that iCarly has been nominated for Best Comedy Web Show at the iWeb Awards. And the iWeb Awards? Why is it always I something in the iCarly universe? Doesn't the I mean internet, so it's really called the Internet Web Awards? Kind of a redundant ass name. The kids are all super psyched to be nominated for this award because they also get to travel overseas, all expenses paid, for the award show. Sam says she hopes the country isn't France, and they all ask her why, and she says, "'Cause it's full of French people." Carly and Freddie then agree and say, "Oh yeah, I wonder if this show aired in France, did the French version change it to a different country? Because imagine you're a little French kid who loves Carly, Sam, and Freddie, then you find out they canonically hate your country for no reason. There's gonna be a few tears shed." The host tells them in the video email to click the accept button if they want to accept the nomination, which they click it instantly, and he responds in the video and says, "Excellent." That doesn't make any sense, but I'll let it slide. Sam then flings pudding at Freddie's eyeballs unprovoked, and nobody says anything to stand up for him or defend him. And I know it's being played for laughs, but that would definitely goddamn hurt and probably burn. You gotta flush your eyes out now, Freddie. Carly goes down to the front desk and asks Lubert if any packages have come for her yet from the iWeb Awards. He says no, and then screams at the top of his lungs and runs off. Classic Lubert interaction, I would say. They go back to Carly's apartment, and Sam Sam thinks that Freddy is spying on them through the peephole behind his door. So she slams the door with all her might, causing Freddy to scream in pain. And honestly, he's a creep. He deserved that one. When they go into the apartment, Spencer is messing with a giant battery-powered light helmet thing, and it's weird how some of his projects actually have nothing to do with art. He just wants to be an engineer, I guess. And Miss Benson then shows up and says she's got a package for the whole crew from the iWeb Awards. And if you look closely, it appears the package has already been opened, and that's a felony, Miss Benson. Take her away and lock her up. Carly opens the mail and says the country is Canada, and everyone gets bummed because that's lame as hell. Then she says, just kidding, it's Japan. And they all screech with excitement. And honestly, we're not even 10 minutes into this, and we've already insulted 2 different countries. It's a little racy. Miss Benson butts in and says she isn't sure if she's comfortable with Freddy going to Japan. And they all ask her what her fucking problem is. Carly says it's just Japan. And Spencer adds in that he'll be going as a responsible adult traveling with them. And just as he says that, his light headband thing catches on fire. So Miss Benson is unimpressed and says no, Freddy is not allowed to go. He's my son and the Japanese aren't having him. So in a desperate moment, Carly invites Miss Benson to come on the trip as well so that Freddy's allowed to come. But they realize the Web Show Awards only sent them 3 plane tickets. Spencer says it's no problem. They're first class tickets, so we can just trade them in for 5 coach tickets so the adults can come too. And honestly, I don't know if that's how plane tickets work. I've never traded in a plane ticket for more tickets of lower quality seats. I don't think you can do that. Later, the kids check out some other web shows that are their competition, and they are unimpressed. So it seems like iCarly has this dub in the bag. Cut to Spencer practicing his Japanese with a giant cardboard cutout of a Japanese man holding an ice cream cone. And honestly, what a crazy way to learn a language. Spencer's actually wearing a goddamn shock collar, so every time he gets it wrong, he gets an electric shock. Imagine a Japanese man shocking you for not being fluent in the language. Is this some kind of fetish, Dan? Feet and electric shock? Because you did the same thing to Josh's asshole in season 3, episode 2 of Drake and Josh, Dan.
What do you think this button does?
Spencer also bought a female language model just because he thought it was hot. Spencer, my man, that thing's gonna cut you up. That's gonna be painful, bro. That's all I have to say about that. The iCarly kids finally see another sketch comedy duo group they're against that they think are actually good. They start brainstorming ideas to secure the dub and not let these randos beat them. And not to be a hater, but what is Carly wearing right now, bro? She is literally repping the Bloods right now, and why the tank top over the skirt? Someone call the fashion police. Cut to Spencer making sexual advances on the Swedish cardboard cutout model and then falling to the floor in agony when it electric shocks him. And yep, this is definitely a fetish. He gets a call from Sako, who tells him that his buddy can get all 5 of them on a flight to Japan, which, what happened to the original plan? I thought they were gonna call the airport and try to trade in the first class tickets. Why can't Carly, Sam, and Freddy at least take the original tickets and enjoy the perks of first class while just the adults find another flight? Maybe Spencer actually sold the first class tickets and pocketed the money to buy more cardboard cutouts of hot women. Upstairs, the iCarly kids film their skit for the iWeb Awards. Trash. Lame, nonsensical, boring, trash. Can't believe this is the same man who gave us all that coming up with these dry-ass iCarly skits. You've gone loose, Dan. We then get a back-to-back Perv Olympics from Dan Schneider with the scene of Carly in a very short skirt. I think it's a little too short if you ask me. And then we get a scene of Sam in a compromising kind of sexual position with her dogs out. Disgusting. Cut to the gang with Sako's buddy, Freight Dog. Everyone climbs aboard the ratchet-ass plane and there's pasi everywhere. Miss Benson asks if it's safe and he says, no ma'am, they carry diseases. Why was buying 2 additional plane tickets with money not an option? No one even considered it or brought it up. They needed 5 tickets and already had 3. There was no reason for all of this. Do they not have money? How do they live in a penthouse apartment? Sam holds one of the diseased possums outside for fun, and the pilot comes out and he tells them he isn't stopping the plane in Japan. He's flying to Korea and just going over Japan, and they're all going to jump out. Everyone freaks out because that was not what was agreed upon. Nobody signed a waiver for this. Don't they all have luggage with them? How did they skydive with luggage? Sam ends up pushing Freddy out of the plane, unacceptable, and Miss Benson jumps after him, and the rest all start to jump too. Spencer grabs his cardboard cutout boyfriend for comfort, and it gives him an electric shock, causing his body to convulse, effectively forcing him to jump off the aircraft against his will. Somehow, everyone lands right near each other despite jumping at very different times. Spencer kicks Miss Benson in the face with his descent, knocking her out cold. Freddy then points out the guy is throwing their luggage out of the plane and that it could absolutely kill a person. It could. Easily. One of the backpacks ends up hitting Miss Benson in the head, knocking her out yet again. Lots of head trauma for Miss Benson. That backpack fell at about 120 miles per hour and hit her right in the cranium. Based off physics, she should be dead. No one shows any concern for her except Freddy, who tries to shake her and wake her up, unsuccessfully might I add, and the scene just fades out and ends, as cheerful music plays in the background. What can I say about that? We find out some Japanese cops found them wandering around in the wilderness and picked them up. And you can already completely tell none of this was actually filmed in Japan. Like I said, it was all shot in Nickelodeon studios, like every other episode. Carly and Freddy go to the front desk of the hotel to check in, and the employee says, "Oh, it's your honeymoon," and Freddy makes some flirty eyes at Carly, so she slaps the shit out of him. He's been pushed out of a plane and now assaulted. Unacceptable. They get their hotel room and Spencer eats the soap in the bathroom thinking it's candy, and then he blows a CGI soap bubble that looks like it's out of the SpongeBob movie. Kyoko and Yuki, the web show competitors, show up at their hotel room with a gift basket and say they're big fans of iCarly. The kids tell them about their adventure having to jump out of a cargo plane and how they lost some of their luggage on the way. So Kyoko and Yuki offer to take them shopping. Freddy's mom says, "Hell yeah, shopping," and they say, actually, for the grown-ups, we booked you guys a massage. And yeah, that's not sketchy at all, separating the kids and adults. I mean, quite frankly, I wouldn't really go out in a foreign land with strangers I've never met before. So the kids go with Kyoko and Yuki, and before they leave, Freddy's mom reminds him to be sure to put on a fresh pair of antibacterial underpants. What, does brother leave skid marks? At first, everyone's vibing in the car with Kyoko and Yuki, and it's one of the fakest looking car scenes I've ever seen in any form of media ever, but after a few minutes, she tells him he's going the wrong way and that he's missed a turn. And the two of them start to argue in Japanese, and it gets pretty awkward. Cut to Spencer and Miss Benson getting seaweed wrap massages by Kyoko and Yuki's cousins, who then leave them there wrapped in the seaweed death trap. So now Spencer has gone from electric shock to bondage. Carly, Sam, and Freddy are stuck as Kyoko and Yuki have driven them out to the middle of nowhere. They're gonna miss the goddamn award show now, which is the whole reason they came to this country, and the two of them just keep fighting in Japanese. Meanwhile, Spencer realizes the only way out of the seaweed bondage is to eat through it. Okay, but Spencer, you don't have to actually swallow it, brother. You could just rip it with your teeth and spit it on the floor. Cut back to Kyoko and Yuki fighting, and I really want to know what these two are saying in Japanese. I wonder if it's just gibberish or if they're actually having a coherent conversation. If anyone can speak Japanese and can understand these two, and can also understand me, let me know down in the comments. Spencer finally gets out of the seaweed and his dick and balls are swinging loose. He covers himself with a towel, then grabs a sword from the wall to free Miss Benson, and the towel falls down and his dick and balls become loose again. Miss Benson's getting a free show. Okay, I'll take it. Back with the iCarly kids, Sam starts filming the fight because kids love violence, but Freddy decides enough is enough and goes to break it up. But the guy kicks Freddy right in the goddamn face, knocking him over and giving him a black eye. So now we can add assault and battery on top of the kidnapping that has already taken place here. Back with the adults, Spencer crawls through a vent trying to find an exit and ends up back in the same exact room with Miss Benson. Does that mean these vents are just filtering used air back into the room? Would that kill you eventually? Over with the kids, Sam decides the fight is getting old and goes and flips both Kyoko and Yuki onto the ground. Back at the adults, honestly, Jesus, it's cutting around so much I can't even enjoy anything. It's too rapid. Spencer sees none other than the real-life Japanese cardboard cutout ice cream guy. And can I just say, they're back from the spa at the hotel now. It's implied they ran through the streets of Japan fully nude. I think that's kind of crazy. Japan is very strict when it comes to laws. Streaking can definitely land you jail time in Japan. Spencer better put his cock and balls away right now. Spencer can't goddamn believe it when he sees the cardboard cutout guy and he goes to confront him and says, "The pain did not help me learn," and rips the guy's ice cream cone away. Not to be made a fool of, the guy responds by ripping Spencer's towel off. The crowd gasps, but when it zooms out, we see he's still covered up and he says, I was wearing another towel. And that's funny as hell, but if they never saw his genitals, why did everyone gasp like that? These people need to goddamn calm down. Back in the hotel room, I can't help but notice that Spencer and Miss Benson are in no rush to put their clothing back on. They stand around conversating, still in their towels. Spencer might get a little lucky tonight. Miss Benson realizes the kids have been kidnapped by evil Japanese web comedians, but Spencer is more concerned about how much his skin is glowing from the seaweed wrap. Back with the kids, Freddy bitches about his black eye and Sam bitches cause she's hungry. The two Japanese kids apologize for ruining their trip and say they're going to give them a special gift to make up for it. They go back to their car to get the special gift, and yeah, they goddamn drive away. They're not coming back. And why does the road behind them just like end? It's literally just trees. I feel like it doesn't continue on at all. And fun fact, the deserted road where Kyoko and Yuki abandon Carly, Sam, and Freddy is the exact same set from the Drake and Josh episode, The Wedding. There's some weird on-screen text, and Sam says they feel like they've been walking for 9 years, even though it looks like the exact same background as before. Freddy keeps bitching about his black eye, and Sam tells him to shut up and that no one cares. It's less than half an hour till the Web Awards start, and again, I'm sorry, but what is this outfit, Carly? The shirt? Gross. Carly lectures them about staying positive when a truck goes by, spraying them all with mud. Classic. Spencer runs up to the hotel front desk and says his little sister has been kidnapped by Japanese web show comedians. But Miss Benson interrupts him to say, "Oh my goodness, I forgot about the chip," and reveals that as soon as Freddy was old enough to crawl, she had a locator chip installed in his head. Absolutely wild. Is that even legal? She starts to activate the GPS chip and it starts beeping. Freddy says, "Do you guys hear that?" as they keep walking down the same little 4x4 dirt path every time in the same shot, and the chip locates his exact coordinates and they go off to rescue the kids. And poor Freddy continues wondering where the beeping is coming from as the girls gaslight him and call him weird and say there is no beeping. Next, we get a shot I don't really understand. I guess the joke is that Spencer is too tall to fit inside a little small taxi, but it's just assaulting my eyeballs to look at this entire scene, frankly. Miss Benson hands Spencer the remote to get a better signal and punches him in the balls while trying to hand it to him.
Oh, sorry.
He holds it up higher and it flies out of his hand, never to be seen again. And yeah, he looks upset about it. And this got me thinking, is Freddy's chip useless forever now? Was the surgery all for nothing? Was that the only contraption that could read his location? I hope there's a goddamn backup remote. Cut back to the kids covered in mud, still walking past the same tiny background for what must be the 200th time. And honestly, it's not bad enough that they reused the same set from Drake and Josh. They also reused the same shot with this set over and over. It's so lazy. Finally, we see a glimpse of the actual web show awards, and Bro is eating hot dogs out of a Ziploc bag. Back with the crew, Miss Benson screams at the driver to pull over next to those muddy hobos. It's really the kids. And Spencer flings his body off of the moving car towards them and falls roughly against the ground. I don't know how he's not broken something. Since the comedy award is last, they all decide to try to make it to the show, and everyone piles into the tiny car. Spencer can't fit in the car and instead ends up on top of it yet again. Yeah, because that worked out so well the first time. Carly screams, "Everyone in?" and Spencer replies, "Not really," but the car speeds off anyway, causing him to fall off the top of the moving car for a second time within a few minutes. More injuries and pain ensue for Spencer. I wish the best for him. Back at the iWeb Awards, the kids have a problem getting in because the security guard speaks no English and only communicates with them through a flipboard with different phrases that have no relevance. Also, Good Charlotte is here?
Here they are, Good Charlotte!
I didn't remember that, that's for sure. The security guard slaps Spencer across the face and says something else in Japanese, which Spencer thinks translates to calling him a dirty street monster. Again, if anyone can confirm what they're saying in the comments, I'd love to know. Good Charlotte then performs, and this is all just a little bizarre. Carly begs the security guard to let them inside, and he flips to a sign that just shows a bunny cartoon. When would that ever be useful to communicate? There's some other funny random ones he flips to as well. Then a jump scare of Dan Schneider's face. Ugh, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Stop putting yourself so much in these shows, Dan. You're desperate for attention, and we don't want to see your ugly mug. Freddie makes a speech about how much this award means to him because of how much iCarly means to him, and Miss Benson decides to go distract the security guards so the others can all storm their way inside. But even once they're in, the security guards still catch them and keep them trapped. They try to communicate with the security and explain their performers, but nobody speaks any English. The one guy grabs a Japanese-English dictionary to try talking to them, but all he manages to say in English is that he has a bladder infection. The announcer says that iCarly unfortunately couldn't make it, so they're skipping their performance for the night. And then Kyoko and Yuki start to perform on stage instead as the iCarly gang tries to explain the full story to the security guards who don't speak English. They end up using charades to try to act it out, and Freddie of course starts secretly filming them and then illegally hooks up his camera feed to directly play to the live audience, who all just think it's a hilarious skit. Sam assaults two officers, and everyone finds it funny and charming, just like they probably would in real Japan, right? Kyoko and Yuki march off stage and say this isn't fair because iCarly has forfeited, which, what? It's not a sports match. Also, the winner is selected based off who is the best live performer? I thought it was for the best web show. You know, the whole point of the iWeb Awards? Yet it barely seems relevant anymore. It's somehow all about the damn live skit show portion. The host of the iWeb Awards sees the live stream and recognizes where the gang is. He heads in there to rescue them, and the iCarly gang is brought onto the stage to be given the first place award, which confuses them because they thought they were disqualified, and they don't know what's going on at all. I don't really know what's going on either, to be perfectly honest. The iCarly theme song then plays canonically in the background as the crowd cheers and they celebrate their win. Why is the theme song playing? It's not the iCarly web show theme song. It is the iCarly show theme song. Miranda Cosgrove is not a pop star within the world of iCarly. This song shouldn't exist. They do the same thing in iParty with Victorious, and it gets me going in a bad way. And after our main characters finally win first place, we see a random ship in the ocean that they are totally on, and hear a voiceover of Spencer explaining this cargo ship was the best transportation home that Sako could find them. He's not a travel agent. Why do they book their ride home through Sako? What was stopping them from just purchasing plane tickets home like everyone else probably did? And honestly, I have to ask, what made the Nickelodeon writers even make this movie? It has a lot of fun moments, sure. I had some laughs, I can't say I didn't. But what was the reason to create a whole movie titled I Go to Japan when they had no intention of filming a second of footage in Japan? Even if they didn't go to Japan, they didn't even bother making it look like they were in Japan, in my opinion. I think I would have liked this better if they didn't create that false expectation there. The name of the episode and the theme of going to Japan all kept making me think how much cooler of an episode this could have been if we actually got to see Carly, Sam, and Freddie adventuring around Japan. Freddie filming in the busy Tokyo streets, Sam shoveling insane amounts of sushi down her throat, I don't know, something. But instead, all we get is the same grassy field background reused set from Drake and Josh for almost the entire episode, and that's kind of a letdown. But if you can get past the annoying green screens and use of sets, and the lack of a meaningful plot, this episode's pretty damn funny, and I would say worth a rewatch just for some laughs. But enough of me yapping. What did you guys think of I Go to Japan? Japan. Do you think the plot feels underwhelming and pointless, or is it funny enough that you don't really care? Let me know what you think down in the comments, and let's kick it. And if you made it this far, why not subscribe and check out my other videos? I might just love myself again if you do. Who knows? And finally, a big throbbing shout out to the Agro Army, the boys, the squad, Kendyl OK, Bsosmoove, Earth, who changed their name to Qoogher. And holy shit, we got 3 new members of the Agro Army: J7 Yadin, Luitze, the Judge 508. Holy shit, you guys. I can't believe it. I'm gobsmacked. I want to lick all of your kneecaps and just as a thank you. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the Agro Army. I'm hyped. All right, thanks for listening.